Today's video is going to be interesting because I'm going to cover New Zealand. I heard the news that a student who goes to New Zealand can get a PR in 2 years. So today I have invited Victor from Victor Immigration, where I'm going to probe him to understand the details about getting PR in 2 years, and that also for students, which is not the case in the UK. Because in the UK, you need to be on skill visa for 5 years to get a PR, or you get another visa category, which is very difficult to get, like Innovator Founder Visa or Global Talent Visa. But that's not the case in New Zealand. So let's find out from Victor what's the truth and how can students get PR in 2 years. But before that, a quick introduction about myself. My name is Sarica and welcome to Your Knowledge Buddy. If you guys want to study abroad in any of these listed countries, my team can help you free of cost. So what do you have to do? You have to fill the form, which is provided in my video description, and my team will reach out to you. So without any further delay, let's get started with today's video by inviting Victor now. Hi Victor, welcome once again to Your Knowledge Buddy. And if you don't mind, can you please introduce yourself once again to my audience?
Thank you very much, Sarica. It's always a pleasure to be here. Hello, audience. This is Victor from New Zealand, and I bring more than 10 years of experience in providing advice to students and immigrants, those who are planning to migrate to New Zealand and Australia.
Thank you, Victor. So I want to know from you, because I'm getting so many questions from immigrants or from students who want to migrate abroad to big countries like UK, Canada, US, and Australia. And for some reason, they are not getting successful, or they're not kind of thinking of those countries anymore because of the recent changes in the immigration. For example, some of the countries don't allow to bring dependents with them if they are going to for masters. And there are some other rules which are changed, which are not immigration friendly. So from your knowledge and expertise, is there any country that you suggest will be beneficial for my audience?
Sarika, that's a brilliant question, and I can relate directly with these scenarios, because we have been getting a lot of inquiries from people, those who are planning to bring their spouse and their dependent children, and they want to explore the pathway of migration as well. So guys, there's a good news. New Zealand, the beautiful heaven on earth. Definitely New Zealand is still having those options where you can come here and study a master's program, like one of the husband or wife, one spouse can study masters and the other spouse can apply for an open work visa. And dependent children can be eligible to apply for a domestic student visa. It means the children's, doesn't matter how many are they can study for free. So that's a great news. As you can see, there is a link at the description for the simplified PR policy. So the students, those who are coming here for a master's program, for which is from 1 year, 1.5 year to 2 year options are available. They can study, work part-time, their spouse can work full-time, as well as after the studies, there is a pathway of 3 years of post-study work visa, and a very minimum English requirement is there. 6.5 bands is required to be eligible to get into this program. During that 3-year period, there is a pathway available as information available on the public domain for the simplified residence visa policy. If a person studies a master's program in New Zealand, they get 5 points, and by working in New Zealand for 1 year, just 1 year, they can get 1 more point, and that brings the total to 6 points. That gives you a direct pathway to the migration. So definitely New Zealand it has all the ticks, Sarika.
Okay, so if I understood it correctly, so say if I'm a student, I want to study masters in New Zealand, and the masters are generally 1.5 years to 2 years in New Zealand, I believe, Victor, right?
We do have options, Sarika. So there are different masters. So we have options starting from 1 year,
Okay.
1.5 year, and 2 year.
So irrespective of whether I'm doing a master's of 1 year or 2 years, and then if I get to work there in New Zealand for another 1 year, then looks like I will be eligible for a PR in 2 years. Am I right?
Definitely. This is the right pathway. And there is another good news, as like we have seen examples. I'm talking from the real life example scenarios. Say, for example, if wife comes here on a student visa and studying masters, and simultaneously husband is here on open work visa, and husband finds a job opportunity, and they have already done a master's from India, then it doesn't even take 2 years, because as soon as they have 1 year of full-time work experience, which will be simultaneously with the wife when she is studying, husband is working full-time, they can be eligible at the end of the first year.
Amazing news. I don't I don't know why people are not aware of it or why people are still not talking a lot about New Zealand. And
Sarika, knowledge is
that's
power.
the
That's what
reason.
you are doing.
That's the reason why you are here to share that knowledge with my audience. I would like to know a little bit more about New Zealand study visa. So, on a high level, for example, you talked about the point-based system. So, what are the other requirements, not only English language, what are the basic high-level requirements for study visa in New Zealand?
We just spoke about the PR pathway and the basically student options for people. They're genuine students. They just want
Mhm.
to maybe upskill themselves, want to study masters. So
Yeah.
for a postgraduate course or a master's program, generally requirement, the rule of thumb is 6.5 bands overall with no band less than 6. But if a 12th pass student, if just a simple school pass out wants to come here and study, they can come here with even 5.5 bands to study a level 5 program, or they can come here for a level 6 or a level 7 bachelor's degree with 6 point overall with the 5.5 minimum.
And Victor, what is the minimum like a post-study work permit which is given in New Zealand? The reason why I'm asking, in UK, there's a post-study work permit is given for 2 years for masters and bachelor students, and for PhD it's 3 years. So what is in New Zealand?
Sarika, there are various options available here in New Zealand. If somebody is coming, like we have a list of green list programs. So if the program which they're studying is in the green list, for example, if they're doing civil engineering, construction management, similar programs, so those programs are in high demand, as well as we have engineering programs. In that scenario, they will get work permit equivalent to the number of years they have studied. And if they do a bachelor's degree, so I'll cover three options. If a student who's just 12 pass, if that person comes here and studies a bachelor's degree of 3 years, which they can generally complete in 2.5 years as well. We have fast track options available. So they get 3 years of post-study work visa after that. And if they still do PG diploma for 1 year, that will give you 1 year of post-study work visa. And if you do masters, then 3 years of post-study work visa.
So you talked about diploma. So Victor, in UK, for students who come to do diploma, they don't get post-study work permit. Do they get in New Zealand?
That's why New Zealand is better, Sarika.
Mm.
So it depends. As I said, just they have to just choose the right program. So that's our team can help with all these things. If they study a program, if they choose the right program, which is in the green list, which has a PR pathway or the skills which are in high demand in New Zealand, then definitely they are eligible for post-study work visa. But if they're just doing general programs like diploma in business or cookery or hospitality, they might not end up with the post-study work visa. So this is where we come in and we guide our students as per their options, their available funds, their English ability, their marks, their career intentions. Our team will analyze their profile and give them the correct options.
So how many intakes are there in New Zealand? In UK, generally we have the biggest is the September intake, then we have January intake, then we have also May intake, April-May intake. So how many are there and when is it starting in New Zealand?
That's also a great question, Sarica, because New Zealand is very flexible. We have 3 tiers of education system here. We have private training establishments, we have tertiary education, which is called T Pukinga, and we have universities. So a lot of options are available. So we can ideally offer intake every second month. So depending on the choice of the candidate, every second month we have an intake. And when we meet the client, when we start looking at their finances, providing them advice about what they need, about police clearance, medicals, by that time we can generally put them into the right intake when they can make their visa preparation, get the visa, make their travel arrangements, and they will come here and settle down in a week, so 10 days time or 2 weeks time, and then they'll have an intake starting waiting for them.
So from my
Okay.
understanding, Victor, what you are saying is student visa is the best visa for anyone to migrate to New Zealand now, given that you were talking about the New Zealand PR system, which changed like points-based system. From my understanding, a job offer is a must to move to New Zealand.
Absolutely.
And where
Absolutely.
people are struggling, I believe. So I think what you're saying is you're suggesting people, if you want to migrate to a new country and settle, New Zealand is much better or the best option right now, given the current situation.
Sarika, you're absolutely on spot, because without a job offer, countries are afraid of giving PR to people because they don't know what they are getting into. They don't know your skills, they don't know your character. So study visa is an ideal option because they are giving you a very good pathway. They are giving you an opportunity to, like, to the audience, like husband can come study, wife can can come here on open work visa, kids can study at school. So both the opportunities are there. Country will see how you behave in the country, how skillful you are, how well you're settling down in the country, what are your settlement factors, and you will also see the applicant will also see how the country is adapting them. So basically, they're liking the weather, they're liking the culture, they are settling down well, the kids are settling down well. So basically, study visa gives them that buffer time, that settlement time in which they can evaluate the country and country can evaluate them. So that's a great opportunity for both the ends.
So I'm thinking now from my audience perspective. So I know there are a lot of students in the UK who are struggling to find a job and their current post-study work permit is about to end. And I know they're reaching out to me, they are panicking because they're not finding a visa sponsorship job. So for those students who want to now say from UK, they want to move to New Zealand, do you see there's a problem or do you think it can be an easy migration for them?
Again, it just depends what they have done in the UK and how they have adhered to the visa obligations of the UK. If they have a very clear record, very clean record, if they have the financial ability, English, I don't think so will be an issue for them. So they can definitely see a lot of value in coming to New Zealand and study. We have master's programs starting from around 15-16 lakh rupees of India. So yeah, 15-16 lakh rupees investing in their future where they can upgrade their skills, they can make them more employable and they can bring their family along. I don't see anything wrong in that. And definitely New Zealand is looking for migrants. And the main reason why New Zealand always keep looking for new migrants and new faces and new talents, because we have a lot of exodus to Australia. Because once they become citizen of New Zealand, then they have a clear pathway to move to Australia and work there, buy cheaper houses. So definitely we have always vacancy. A vacancy is always there in New Zealand. So hi guys, people from UK, if you want to explore the options, please get in touch with us and we are here to help. If you are a New Zealand citizen, you go to Australia, live there for 4 years, then you can become Australian citizen as well.
For students who have done their either bachelor's or master's from the UK, do they have to also give another English exam like IELTS exam or PT exam, or not needed because they have studied from UK?
Yes, if they have successfully studied from an English-speaking country, they can get a waiver for the English.
Can you talk about a little bit about the financial requirements? I hear in the news there are some changes, at least in the Australia now I know. Is there any changes or what is the existing rule? What is the financial requirement for study visa?
Like inflation is all-time high in everywhere, every part of the world, but New Zealand is still okay. Every student who is coming as a full fee-paying student to New Zealand, they need to show that they have a living cost, which is $20,000 per annum. So the good thing for New Zealand is the people, those who are applying for a student visa, they need to show first year of liquid funds covering four aspects. They should be able to show whatever is their fees for the 1 year, their living cost, their medical insurance, and their airfare for the first year. And if they are coming for more than a year program, then they need to show the payment plan. It means a regular income by their sponsor, that how they're going to fund their second or third year of their education, or just 6 months of their education post 1 year. So if somebody is coming for 1.5 years, they need to show first year of liquid funds and a payment plan for the next following 6 months.
That's nice. Thank you. Victor, just last question before we wrap this video. I know you talked about demand list, green list in New Zealand. Just for my audience, can you just list down or just on a very high level tell few of the courses that my students should be opting for? I understand engineering is in huge demand. I also understand healthcare is in huge demand. Can you also just say other domains as well? For example, I know IT is in demand. I already know. So for people who are taking any IT related courses, they will be in demand. Any more examples which I'm not aware of, my audience is not aware?
Definitely, Sarica. Again, it's a brilliant question because there is a very, very nice program which is very popular among our Asian countries. And the program is called Early Childhood Education.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a very good program. If anyone is coming to New Zealand from a background of arts, commerce, or science, even if they have not studied education in the past, then we have a very good program which is called Graduate Diploma in Teaching Early Childhood Education. That's around 1 year to 13 months program. And that program is a green list program. First of all, duration is less. And that program allows you to bring your spouse along and dependent children on a free education visa, as well as that's a green list program. So it gives you a pathway for the post-study work visa and the teacher registration in New Zealand. So that's also amazing program and very, very popular program among migrants.
Oh, good. Thank you for explaining that. I believe this will be useful for my audience because most of the time when I talk about STEM related things, and I'm glad there's a lot of things other than STEM. And so people who are watching this video, go and take advantage of this. If you're not from STEM, this is a golden opportunity. If you want to settle in any new country like New Zealand, this is the golden chance for you before they make any new changes.
Yeah, Sarika, there is another interesting trend which is happening in New Zealand. A lot of male students are getting into this graduate diploma after a bachelor's degree, which they have done offshore, BCom or BA. A lot of male students are getting into early childhood education.
Oh, good to know
That's a very, very good trend because people are talking here that kids, when they see woman figure in their house, mother is doing everything, in the school teacher, miss is doing everything, then they miss out the value of male in their life.
Right.
Because father is at work most of the time. So that's a great program for male students as well, if they want to get into education industry and relate with the young minds and the young kids.
I think this is going to be very good news for all my audience, and I think they are going to make use of it. And for people who want to reach out to Victor and the team, the email ID is there in the video description. It's also on the pinned comment. And also, guys, if you want me to do more detailed, maybe live session with Victor, either on Instagram or YouTube, please make sure you comment. And as you know, Victor is not new to my channel. We are having Victor now for almost 2 years, bringing him for covering different topics and also doing live sessions. So just keep commenting so that I can bring Victor again and discuss new topics for you guys. Thank you, Victor. Thank you for coming and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.